Welcome to Skechcraft, the podcast for art, design, and process junkies. I'm Rob Duenas, art director for Game Fan Magazine and Artist Esquire. This is an unedited podcast, which means there is some cursing from time to time, so please be aware. Thanks for listening, and here we go. And here we go. Alright, so quick sketch rant today, folks. How y'all doing? How y'all out there? This is Rob D, art director for Game Fan Magazine. Today, maybe tomorrow, who knows? Lots of things going on in the house of Rob. So I wanted to talk to you all about conventions on this very special sketch rant. I'm going to TucsonCon here in another week or so. That's in Arizona, Tucson, Arizona, at the Bookman's Event Center. Yeah, that's November 5th and 6th. I'll be there with Big Dog Inc., old Tom Hutchison, and we shall be there doing what we do. So, why do I bring it all up? Beyond shameless self-promotion, I wanted to talk to you all about what it's like to go to conventions when you're not famous or rich, like moi. So, brief history, kind of a segue too. So you guys know, I'm going to be starting a podcast soon about the history of Rob, so I'll sort of explain my history as an illustrator, not so much my life history, which will sort of explain a bit of this more in detail, coming soon to a sketch rant near you. In the meantime, what I'm trying to get to is, about 2004, 2005, I decided to take some time off school to sort of actually get on with my career, because I sort of felt that there was no way in hell the Art Institute was ever going to get Rob a job, to speak about myself in the third person. And I said, okay, well, I had initially applied to Comic-Con for years, 2001, 2002, 2003. I think I got in 2003, but the guy I was going in with didn't want to go. And I couldn't afford the whole $400-something for a small press booth by myself, so I had to cancel that, and I've been on their blacklist ever since. So, what I did was I looked for the nearest other convention to go to. And at the time, it was Wizard World. Wizard World had a convention in Long Beach up until about 2005 or so. So I'm pretty sure this was 2004. I might be wrong. Anyhow, I decided that's going to be the convention I go to. So I packed up, I had maybe 2 or 3 pieces of art. I had a Batman animated design I had done for fun, like animating the Batman Begins costume. I had 1 or 2 Turtles prints, and I had worked at Kinko's at the time, so I printed them up for free. Printed a lot of them. I think I printed like 100 each. And I decided I'm going to go to this convention, and I'm just going to sell the prints for $1. Because who wouldn't want one for $1? It's $1, sure. And trying to do commissions for I think, so bad at art. I think at the time I did them for $5. And so just to see what the hell it would be like. So I packed up my bags with my buddy Joe and a few other friends, and we went down there. And I remember sitting there with, I was in between, on my right I had Christian Lickner, I had Christian... The guy from Red Star was on my right, and to my left was one of the Magic painters, some brilliant illustrator. I was way out of my league, basically. And it was a very humbling experience. I actually sold like 60 or 70 of those things the first day, so it was pretty good, but walked away with like $60. So we had Taco Bell, and went back to our room, drank some beers, came back there the second day. To make a long story short, it sort of got me going on conventions. All in all, I barely broke even with commissions and nearly free prints. And I said, well, I want to go to the next Wizard World, which was a year away. So that gave me time to get going. And since then, I've been continually going to conventions. I've been going to Comic-Con. I actually finally got into San Diego Comic-Con, but I go with that through Dave Halverson. Used to be Play, and then San Diego, and then Game Fan now. So I don't really pay for that. It doesn't really cost me anything other than my life, to go there. But going to other conventions, I still pay for a lot of that. Right, lately it's been pretty good the last year or so. I've been going to smaller cons with Tom from Big Dog Inc., and he actually has been covering a lot of the overhead. So like, they because it's going there to represent the company. It's been nice having had to pay for the table and whatnot. So, but that all being said, I still have to I pay for my own prints. I like to cover my own photo, even though Tom's been nice here and there. I feel like it's a handout. So I like to cover a lot of my own stuff. And when I go to other smaller cons, again, everything's on me: hotel, food, so forth. So I'd like to talk really quick about what it's like to be there, first off. So when you prepare to go to a Comic-Con, you kind of want to, in my opinion, you want to try to turn a profit before you go. What I mean, ways to do that are commissions ahead of time, taking in plenty of commissions, sort of ganging them up. Another thing you can do is sort of pre-order prints. So if you have some exclusive prints that are going to be exclusive, like you're just going to do them for that convention, you can actually, say you're going to print up, maybe you expect to sell 10 prints. Let's say you're like a nobody like myself, and you're like, well, maybe I'll sell 10, print 20, and take pre-orders on the first 10. Say, look, I'm printing 20, it's going to be limited to this convention, and you can use your Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, DeviantArt, eBay to sort of pre-sell those as a way to generate revenue before you go. And then another thing you can do is freelance. You can take on extra freelance if you know in advance. Well in advance. You try not to do this at the last second. You could take on freelance to sort of cover those immediate expenses that will occur. Again, like I said, I like to be totally profitable. Like I want to have the whole convention squared away with before I go. So right now, like a lot of that is why I started doing like these commissions, like the saucy shots and the sweet shots and these smaller ones, to one, help to promote my site, but two, to get up the revenue so it doesn't come out of my own pocket. I mean, I'm basically drawing my way to go to a convention. Another thing you can do when you get there is you take commissions and you sell prints. So selling prints, in order to sell prints, you have to print prints. So you're going to need money. Again, that sort of goes back to turning a profit before you go. I've been using Vistaprints the last few years to print my 11 by 17 prints, and they've been pretty good. Though recently they've been a little bit on the expensive side. Before I used to average $1 per print, if that, and right now they're like at $2.25. So this convention, I'm only doing some very minor new printing. I'm actually doing. I'm printing some older stuff. Some of the newer stuff I'm printing, I'm going through a local printer that, it's still not as good as the deal as I got before, but I can print closer to my date, and being at the local, I can just drive down there and pick them up, and I have them shipped to me and wait, and I have to have them there in 5 to 7 days in advance. So I've always been happy with the quality of Vistaprints. I like that they come in individual boxes, and I can do low print runs. I mean, you can print one print from them. All the way up to 1,000. So they've been pretty good. Just I'm still open to new printers. If anyone has any suggestions, feel free to let me know. I'll definitely share it again on the podcast. Another thing, what kinds of prints. This is the thing where I would, if you don't know where you're going, I mean, if you've never been to the convention you're going to, I would recommend you just take fan art. Put the little legal information on there to sort of cover your end. But, Batman, Superman's, whatever. I have found that in the Arizona, New Mexico area, they like guns. They love their guns. So they like Captain America, the big-ass gun. They like the Punishers. They like Deadpools. Domino with lots of weapons and stuff. So I'll have a new Domino print. I'm going to do some saucy prints, meaning I'm going to pick a couple of my watercolor 11 by 17s and actually print them as prints and see how well those do. I'm trying that out at this TucsonCon. I don't know how well they'll do. If they don't do well at all, then I'll have to just go back to doing purely digital. But I think I'll always have one or two of those on me. Those are some new things I'm trying. And then another thing you can do when you're at a convention is, of course, take actual commissions. Now, I have done this many different ways. Every convention I go to, I try something new in terms of working. The last convention I did was Comic-Con, and I didn't do any commissions really this time because I was sick and burnt the fuck out. Whereas the year before, I did 300 commissions, literally, at $10 each. I made a good penny. But I was drawing my freaking ass off, and the quality wasn't so good, but at $10, I mean, people generally are really happy with anything. So it was a really good experience, to go, it's a really good experience to try different kinds of qualities and media when you're at conventions. I went to the Phoenix Con back in June, and I tried doing some watercolor at the convention. Didn't work out so well for me. Because I'm sort of packed in at a company booth, there's just not enough room to sort of lay that stuff out and feel comfortable to do that kind of mixed media. So I'll probably continue to stick with pencil, possibly Copics and markers and stuff, but I like to basically charge maybe anywhere from 20 to 50 for a commission. I tend to charge on the little lower end because, again, not a lot of people know who the hell I am. And when they first come up, and if I go, oh, that's 50 for commission, I won't get one person. But if I start to gang up 2 or 3 and people start to see, then I get those. And so at a minimum, I like to charge 20. Now, I'll be honest. If a kid comes by, like a little kid, like 4 or 5 years old, they just want a drawing, I'll do a head sketch for free. As well as generally a quick little mini sketch of something for someone if they buy a print or something. That's not a big deal, but I got to make those like 5-minute sketches. Like you gotta crank them out. And I always like ask if I can pick a character if it doesn't matter, So if they buy a Ninja Turtle, that's lucky because I can crank out a Ninja Turtle head in about 2 minutes. Something else I want to bring up to you really quick when you guys go to cons is bring lots of hand sanitizer. Try not to shake too many hands because you be getting sick like a motherfucker. I got something nasty the first day of Comic-Con this past year, and it left me sick for like a month. What to eat? That's another thing. So you be shaking people's hands and then eating, there's not... It's a very grimy place, conventions. I've been meaning to ask some of the female cosplayers how they manage to keep healthy at all. Being that they're hugging so many people and wearing so little, generally speaking. So my advice to you, eating at conventions, is to never eat convention food if you don't have to. I like to bring Cliff bars, energy bars, basically, like organic, because one, it'll keep me from using the restroom, which I know it sounds a little gross, but the last thing you want to do is get the runs at a convention center. Those aren't the most sanitary of restrooms. And then I like to bring my own water, so I basically just drink water, maybe an iced coffee I'll get in the morning, so I get a little caffeinated before I go. And then I like to eat Cliff bars during the day and then have a nice meal at night. But that's me. I've seen people eat pizza on it. Tom will get something every now and then, but it just always makes a mess when you're eating pizza or something. Plus, you've been drawing. I mean, I've roughed it in my life, so I guess on one end I kind of don't care. But honestly, after getting really sick at Comic-Con, I'm kind of freakish about it at this point. So let me see what else. Okay, so here's something else. I should kind of coming back to drawing at conventions. You're going to encounter a lot of different people at conventions. Mostly you'll encounter pretty cool people. My advice to artists, please, is when people come to the table is to just put on your game face. Be as approachable as possible. I mean, I know it's nervous and to sort of talk and promote yourself as an artist. We're generally introverts. I'm sure you know. But when you're at that convention, you need to kind of put your game face on. You may not want to talk to people. You may not want to be like, I just want to, but this is not the fucking place for it. You showed up at the convention, people are showing up to meet you, and if you're nobody, like you have no name, then you better damn well be a likable person so they don't forget you. There are people to this day that I met at that 2004 con who continually show up. and they still buy stuff, and it's really gratifying, for them to say, wow, I've just seen you grown so much, and I remember when you did those little things, and I still have your sketches, and if I was a total dick or a nervous wreck, maybe it wouldn't have worked out so well. So my advice is you need to put on your game face, pretend you're not you for a second, promote, and then also be aware that when you're talking as much and doing that, you'll probably draw slower. So I would limit your commissions to no more than 5, at any given time. I would never take on more than 5 at a convention if you're taking your time and stuff. At that rate, I charge a little more. I always generally charge 20 to 40 or 50 being like people want full color, full figure and stuff. But pencils, sketch, I'll do 20. I'll do a little bit of color and stuff like that for 40. But if they want the full deal, we're talking usually $50 or $60 sometimes. And that's just mostly to keep them from to keep people from buying them from me, because for $50 they'd rather go get something from a more famous individual than yours truly. But at 20 they'll probably throw down for 1 or 2. And every now and then you're going to get an individual who hands you an odd request. Couple of quick stories about that is I remember one lady coming to my table year after year, and I always forget her, but she'll show up and she'll always ask me, do you mind if my kids watch? And I always go, oh yeah, that's fine, because people ask that a lot. But this lady, and after I say it, I remember who it is, and she pulls out these little 1-inch wicker dolls, and they sit on the table and watch me. And she'll look at you, and she goes, I know, it's weird. So I don't know, they probably represent her grandchildren. I don't know. I've never bothered to tell the story, but it always disturbs me when it happens, and I tend to get past it. But she's always pretty cool, and she doesn't demand too much art-wise. And then there's another guy who, he's pretty famous. He's known like the mermaid guy, and there's a few of you out there who know what I'm talking about. This guy apparently lives in San Diego, from what I found out. He's local. And I've known him for years, and he makes his rounds, and he likes mermaids, folks, and he likes his mermaids. And he has specific reference for you to follow, and he's very picky about the level of detail you put in there. So on the upside, he always pays, and he actually pays higher. He'd rather get effort. So he's weird to deal with, but if you're having a rough time at a convention, and I've been there, you're like, oh, the mermaid guy. Oh, I got to take that money. I remember one convention was so bad, Long Beach in 2009. It was so bad, I was begging for that mermaid money just so I could that was the last time I didn't pre-sell a convention, and I took a huge hit. I think I ate $600 on that convention when everything was said and done. So that's a tough pill to swallow, folks. When you're me, I don't get comp tables, and I don't get a lot of special perks and stuff. So when you're in that position, grinding it out, I advise you go in groups, take not just yourself, try to get another artist friend of yours. Try to be completely different in style so you're not directly competing with one another. And then if you can get those little banners, they're like $250, you can put them behind you. They kind of stand up behind you, put your name. It kind of helps kind of block out the back so people see your name and a big piece of art. I recommend that as well. And then always properly promote you going to conventions through a podcast or through Twitter, like SketchRob, Twitter, podcasts like Skechcraft.net, or Facebook, like at at Rob Duenas or at Skechcraft on Facebook, and of course DeviantArt, robduenas.deviantart.com. Promote. Let people know you're going to be at the Tucson Con, November 5th and 6th, this month or next month. 2 weeks at the Bookman's Event Center. You just keep telling people stuff like that, and hopefully they will show up. I will talk to you all soon. Thank you, and bye.
Hands Junkies fan.